a.m. and here we are. Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Urshel and it's Urshel Speaks. Welcome to this Tuesday. And we got started a little bit later, and the date said December 92nd, 2020. And man, I was like, all right, we're just gonna extend this 2020 party and keep it going. And that's part of what we want to talk about today. I hope everyone had an amazing Christmas. There we go. The 92nd day of December in 2020. What year would be more appropriate to just extend it for, 90, 100, 200 days? And I hope everybody had a great and safe holiday. As far as Christmas goes, we got New Year's coming up, and on New Year's Day, this Friday. So everyone be safe. Pay attention to all the stuff that's going around. Would definitely like to say to everyone with friends and family in Nashville, Tennessee, bless you guys, and know that that's been a real challenge that they faced there on Christmas Day with the explosion. Hey, Gracie, what's happening? Glad to have you here this morning. And what I want to talk about today is, just kind of, this is our last show for 2020. And, unless we just decide to jump, maybe we'll do a New Year's Eve party. I don't know. But as we look back on this year, and, and I've thought about all the things that have happened, going all the way back to January. I mean, there's been so much that has gone on this year, and it's not just the pandemic. I mean, so many things have happened that it's hard to even remember the challenging things that we face, even going back to January and February, and how the world, how our country, our families have been impacted. I think, hey, good morning, Natalie. I think, like everybody now knows someone that's somehow been impacted by COVID. My daughter, 24-year-old nurse, and she's been cleared for probably going on 3 months now, and she still has, challenges with taste and smell. I think she said when she starts eating, she can taste, but then her taste and smell goes away. Other friends that I know, people have been impacted as far as their careers, families, I mean, all the things that are going on in 2020, but yet, here we are. I'm still smiling. I bet you're still smiling. So many things are wonderful in our lives. We still have so much to be thankful for. We still have so much to show gratitude for. And so, hey, good morning, Candace. How are you? And so, as I look back and I think about all the things that have happened, it makes me think of a phrase that our politicians and other people use quite often, and that's never let a good crisis go to waste, right? And so I know that that's usually kind of used in a way that says, when something bad happens, this is an opportunity, like school shooting happens, and then people who want to, want more gun control, or people who want more restrictions, or people who want to get rid of guns, they take that crisis and then try to capitalize on that politically with a message, or, and it happens, in a variety of ways, and people will try to manipulate a bad circumstance. But brilliant people, people who change the world, people who really make a difference, they see a crisis and they see something happen. And we have many business people who innovate out of that situation. We have people who see a change in the circumstance, which other people see as a crisis, and they take that and they make something out of it. They create a shift. They see an opportunity instead of, just sitting back and saying, woe is us. This is terrible. I can't believe, this is what's going on. But they see that there's an opportunity to do something greater, to change, to innovate. And that's many of the people that I know. I see people doing that and taking advantage of the opportunity, the way that many of us have had to change the way that we do our business, the way that we interact with our clients, our customers, the way that we interact with our families. We have Zoom family meetings, people across the country. All of these things have created different opportunities that we can seize on. But my question today And the thing that I want to ask is, when I remember after coming back from Desert Storm, and people will ask me about being there and what was it like, and all the normal questions. And one of the things that I would flippantly say was, I didn't leave anything there. I don't have any reason to go back. And I thought about that this week. And my question is, as you look back, 11 and a half, 11 and, 3/4, almost, well, heck, even beyond that, when you look back over 2020, did you leave anything in 2020? When you think about all the lessons, all the conversations that we've had that we wouldn't have otherwise had. I mean, we're not talking so much about, the school systems and, the inequity of, the ability to have the internet for kids and the challenges for, some of my friends, deal with children with disabilities in school and the challenges, for them, and all these conversations that we had, all of these things that have come up over the course of this year, and more specifically for you and me, all of the personal things that we experienced, all of the individual things that were exposed, or things that became challenges in our life. It's so hard for us to maintain focus on so many things, and so many different things that we've had to deal with. But I've had some amazing conversations this year, and even in the middle of all of the challenges and the things that were going on, there have been great things that have happened this year. And my question is, are we leaving? Are we so in a hurry? When I see all the memes and I hear all the conversations, and people, running out of, 2020 and running into 2021, with this mindset that, when the calendar flips and when we start writing, different dates on everything that we're signing and everything else, that somehow from December 31st to January 1st, moving into 2021, is going to somehow change. That 2020 has been a bad year. And I saw this commercial, and I've been sharing it with some friends. I don't know if you've seen it, the Match.com commercial, and it's Satan and meets up with 2020, and they have a great date, and they're having dates in empty football stadiums and empty movie theaters. They're working out in empty gyms and all of these things. And they say, I just wish that this year would never end. I don't want this year to end. And, and it's kind of funny. I thought it was, interesting for, Match.com, a little bit risky for them to take that approach, but I thought it was funny. But then when we look at the reality of, we have had the opportunity this year to think in ways that we would not have thought on our own. We have had to adapt. We have had to grow. We've had to, we think about all the time, the people talk about the challenges, and there were challenges when we were all forced into lockdown. But then there were also tons of people who were spending more time with their family. I got to spend more time with my kids, every single day. And I couldn't have created a situation that allowed that, for us to just be at home, to be spending the time focusing on our children's education with no other real distractions and other things that we needed to do. Man, I'm sweating today. And as a matter of fact, Natalie's listening. I remember her, she was talking earlier in the year, and I think some friends in their neighborhood, they were supporting local businesses. So together as families, as households, they were taking turns ordering from different restaurants to help support those restaurants so that they could keep their doors open. And then I think it was two households, they would take turns. And one day they would order from a different local restaurant for both households, and they would alternate doing that. All of these things that came out of the challenges that we were facing. And I wonder, as things have obviously not gone back to normal, and I don't even believe that we'll ever resettle in the normal that we had before. I believe that it should be. It's got to be. Everything needs to get better. I mean, that's what our existence is about. It's about expanding, getting better, improving, and more than filling up the space that we were created to fill so that our life progresses. That's what our existence has really been all about. And so as we look at this year and we look back, and I know it's it's goal setting and goal affirming season for 2021, and yeah, I don't know if the gyms are going to get the big boost that they normally get at the beginning of the year. But even as we do that, I think it's really important, especially in this year, because it's been so unique in our lifetimes. I think it's really important to look back and think about the things that we were forced to deal with, and reflect a little bit on those conversations, those realities, and those changes, because there are so many good things um, that that we were forced to, that we were basically without the world asking our permission, we were required to look at a lot of things differently, to take a lot of things more seriously. I one of the things, this is kind of funny, because and some of I had a car accident right before all of the COVID things, and I had to do a lot of rehab, and so I started brushing my teeth with my left hand, and doing some brain rewiring and all of these things, and now on the Apple Watch, because of COVID and people needing to wash their hands, my watch, when I wash my hands, this is interesting. When I wash my hands, my watch picks up on that, and it starts a 20-second timer. And then at the end of 20 seconds, it vibrates and says, "Congratulations, you did it. You washed your hands for a full 20 seconds." And and you're supposed to brush your teeth for 2 minutes. And I realized that I probably brush my teeth normally, without thinking about it, without any timer or anything else. I probably brush my teeth twice as long as we're supposed to. And maybe I start daydreaming or whatever, but I just brush sometimes for a long time, it seems. Definitely on average more than 2 minutes. And I probably don't wash my hands prior to my watch monitoring my hand washing, and Big Brother telling me, how long it's going to take me to kill, any germs or bacteria. I probably didn't wash my hands for 20 seconds all the time. Sometimes it was a lot faster than that. All of these things that we have been forced to think about, conversations that we've been required to have, ways that we've had to look at things, ways that we've had to think about our family, our children, our relationships, and our job. I think this is a good time to take a look back and say, what are the things? What are the things that we learned that maybe we've already forgotten about? What are the challenges that we faced and the resulting actions that we took? Do we think differently about the small businesses in our communities? Do we think differently about as a entrepreneur, my relationship with my business banker? That relationship has always been a good relationship. He's a good friend. But if it hadn't been for having a relationship with a banker who isn't in one of the big national banks, is the primary reason why I was able to get PPP loans and things like that. Because if I had been with Chase or Bank of America, it just never would have happened. I probably wouldn't have even gotten an application processed. And so as we think about our communities, as we think about our businesses, I remember walking outside and just feeling the strangeness of our street and the neighborhood being quiet. And the first time I drove from Plano back into Dallas, and I got on the tollway, and like hardly any cars were on the road. And and just thinking, wow, this is our whole world has changed. And I don't want to, and it's not, if we don't remember the past, we're destined to repeat it. It's not a fear-based thought that I want to provoke today. But it's one that I look at with excitement, in the sense that if we've gone through all of this, if we've experienced so many things, not just individually, but collectively, And what a waste it would be if we didn't take some time to reflect and say, how have these conversations, the things that have happened racially, the things that have happened as far as even the entertainment that we consume, um, as much as I love the Dallas football Cowboys, that and we're probably still going to win the Super Bowl this year, because I always believe that every year, we are destined to win the Super Bowl. But all of those things, all of the sports, everything became less significant, and we started thinking about things that were more important, and we started looking at things, and not taking as many things for granted. The vital things. We this term that none of us were, most of us weren't as familiar with. People who've worked in the government are probably used to the term essential workers. But now all of us are familiar with that term. And as we look at those people that were called essential workers, when our lives screech to a halt, as we move forward, how do we look at those positions and those people? How do we value them over things that really were, less essential to our life and our existence? And we shouldn't forget about that. We shouldn't forget the people that we feel like are essential. And I know even that sparked some controversy and conversation over, what do you mean my job isn't essential? And it's not about anybody being less significant or meaning less than anyone else. But what are the things, when it really comes down to it, that are most important for us? What are the things that we need to be thinking about the most? And personally, what are the impacts and what are the changes that we can make in our lives going forward? There's a passage in the Bible that says that, we experience a momentary light affliction for an eternal weight of glory. And basically that means, we sometimes face challenges, and it's just for a short time. And it may hurt, it may wound us, it may, humble us, all of these things. But then the impact of that going forward lasts forever. And when I look back over 2020, and when I think about the challenges, the conversations, the changes that had to be made, the things that I had to think about differently, I don't want to leave anything in 2020 that is valuable for my life going forward, valuable for your life going forward, and forget about it because we're settling back in to a new status quo. We're settling back into just kind of a new way of, getting used to being lazy about our lives again, and not having to really value where we spend our money, how we spend our time, what we think about, what we focus on, and really valuing what's important, how we treat, the people around us, and the circumstances. And I think one of the more beautiful things is, as I look back over 2020, is so many of the conversations that required different people to really have to take a look at the circumstances and the thoughts and the feelings of other people, whether it be of race or gender or whatever, but to really have to look at life and consider things through another person's eyes in ways that we previously hadn't before. And so I don't want to leave anything, and I don't want you to leave anything in 2020 that's of value for our life going forward. So let's take some time before we, pop the bottles of champagne and do all the things that we're going to do to move into 2021 and just blow the doors off and have, another amazing year. Let's take some time. Let's look back and let's make sure that we don't leave anything in 2020 that we should be taking with us for the rest of our life. My name is Urshel. This is Urshel Speaks. Man, I love you guys. Please like and share. You can always go to YouTube, to my YouTube channel, and rewatch any of these videos. Yep. And don't forget to visit youareoptimized.com. Every business owner, everybody out there that has a business, I guarantee that I can help you with some things. Go down there, download the free book. If you got any business questions, I can answer for you. I'd be glad to do it. Hey, if I don't talk to you or see you before 2021, have a happy new year. I love you all. Have a great and safe, happy holiday. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.